like to introduce you to Janice Wang, who's the CEO of Alvanon, and Alvanon are the apparel fit experts. Actually, I would say worldwide, wouldn't you, Janice?
Yes.
I had the pleasure of meeting Janice when I was at Draper's. We were at a summit together, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
And we were both talking at this summit. And I was really impressed with actually the enthusiasm and the excitement that you have for the industry, and this perpetual need to keep on improving what already are excellent mannequins, because fit is obviously so important.
Yes, and what we were very impressed by was actually your dedication to the industry by training new students and actually also improving the industry workforce by what you do. So maybe we should talk a little bit about what we're doing in collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were actually at the fashion studio to start off with.
Yes.
When we first met, and you very kindly gave us a donation of £25,000 worth of mannequins. Now, I can't stress to all designers and all the retailers and e-tailers out there the importance of having a good mannequin. I mean, it's just so important for silhouette, isn't it?
Yes.
And for fit.
And for balance.
Mm.
One of the things that what we found, and the reason why we want to support you for Fashion Studio, is that some of the young designers don't have the right tools that are in place. And so some of the things that they don't actually see actually cause the garments to not fit correctly and also to be unbalanced. And so when we first discussed about what you were doing by teaching some of the new designers that were coming into Fashion Studio, what I found was very interesting was that they may not actually realize how much goes into actually making the first sample.
Oh, there's so much work.
Yeah.
And as you say, that's really important for balance. I mean, perhaps you could just go through some of the key measurements and areas on your mannequin.
So the most important part actually in a mannequin is kind of the stance. If I take off this arm, you'll actually see that there is a seam line that runs all the way down this side, and in traditional mannequins it's called the side seam. However, if you look at it actually as a balance point, if you were to look at the legs of this, nobody actually stands in this way for a mannequin, or as a human. Only mannequins stand this way. The reason is when you're actually creating a pair of trousers, you have to incorporate movement into it. And when you incorporate movement into it, you have to see where the trouser is actually balanced. So that's one of the key points. Another key point is the armhole. Nobody quite realizes how much the armhole is important, because actually in here is a lot of the muscular things that are actually allowing you to move your arms forwards and back, and how that armhole shape has to be retained.
And actually there's nothing worse than having a garment where the armhole doesn't fit, because actually it gapes, doesn't it? And it can spoil the whole look of a garment.
Absolutely. And if you can't move, then
if it's too tight
around the back, you basically can't even drive a car. And sometimes you'll find garments that haven't been thought through properly. That's one of the key areas that actually you have problems with. When we're looking at these mannequins to use it for fit, the most important thing is to actually start looking at also the measurement lines that are here. Because even though you might know where you want to, as a designer, want to move it 2 inches from the bust, but for the manufacturer, the bust could be anywhere along this line.
Yeah.
And so it must be very important for you to communicate it correctly as a designer to the manufacturer that says, okay, look at bust point, this is where I located bust point, move the seam either, or the whatever your, for whatever
line,
princess line, move it 1/4 inch this way, 1/4 inch that way. 2 centimeters down. Everybody has the same reference point. Some of the things that we find in just in designers, in young designers, and new designers especially, is that they have a very good creative idea of what they want to do, but the communication of that to the manufacturer isn't very clear, and that's where all of the trouble starts to happen, because actually you probably have a very good idea of what exactly you want to make, but if the maker doesn't understand...
Yeah, it's the communication, isn't it? It's got to be correct. And there have got to be these points of reference.
Yes.
So we are very fortunate because not only did we have one donation of £25,000 worth of mannequins, we then had a second donation of £25,000 worth of mannequins, which is for our new Fashion Technology Academy next door, which will be opening in January 2015.
Yes.
So this is such an advantage to our designers, also to our fitting team, the people who do the patterns and the grading too, because it means that we have really good, what I call live forms. They are the most accurate mannequins I've ever come across, and I've been in the industry over 30 years. This is a godsend. This really helps our learners, because if they are getting it right first time, if they understand the premise of where are the correct ways to fit, the balance has to be correct at all times. You can see that the mannequin is clearly marked and the places for the top hip, the lower hip, the mid hip as well. And this means that they're at the best possible start in their journey when they're doing their fitting session.